There we go. It's go time.
We're
Yes.
live.
Yes. Hello. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Hello, everybody. Lenny and I were just gabbing about the weather, as you do, because
Yes.
not only is it, we were having snow showers in Connecticut, but, like Kentucky. What?
Yeah, we got 8 inches and it hasn't gotten above freezing since Sunday and won't until Monday. So yeah. So
Yeah,
wherever you are, I was just on a call with my friends at Recollective in Canada and they were just like,
I know. Well,
really?
we were just talking about Lenny has childhood roots up in Wisconsin, which is like there are certain areas of the country that, would be looking at people in Connecticut discussing our weather like with a certain look and disdain, like you don't
Yes.
know anything. And certainly areas of the country like the Northeast that might look to, the mid-Atlantic and be like, really, friends? So anyway, so wherever you are, I hope it's sunny.
Yes, right. Or if it's not, that you're enjoying it. We
Yeah.
saw some Mennonite kids the other day on bikes in the snow with hockey sticks. So they were going to make the most of this. They were going to some type of frozen pond and they were going to play hockey. And it's like, there you go. That's
I'm just gonna have to share that clip with my children who are Letterkenny fans. And if and I'm sorry, but if you don't know Letterkenny, I apologize if you check it out and you suddenly learn something new about the Lynch family. But Lenny, you should definitely check out Letterkenny because of the statement you just said.
okay.
Anyway,
All right. So as always, we have a lot to cover besides the weather.
we really do. And it was interesting because each week Lenny and I share things that are catching our attention in our news feeds and in our various sources. And this week I was thinking we don't have a lot really to cover. And then I'm like, oh no, of course we have a lot to cover.
we do. It kind of piled up. Didn't it?
It
There was a
really did.
flurry of really like yesterday of like,
Yeah.
whoa, wait.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. So, but I do want to, before we go into, kind of news and AI, which spoiler alert, we're going there again. I did want to just talk about this particular product launch that came out. And, and the reason, which I'll get to, I put it in our notes, but, so this company Tobii launched UX Explorer. It's a cloud platform making eye tracking based mobile UX research more accessible and scalable for organizations. And at first you read it and you're like, yeah, okay, mobile eye tracking, but that doesn't seem new conceptually. But I loved that they were talking about this is accessible and scalable, recognizing that that there is a need for value pricing right now, which now I haven't checked their pricing. I don't know that. But anyway, that's why it stood out at me. I was like, okay, let's talk about that because isn't that a big need right now?
Absolutely, and that's been a real challenge. So that Cool Tool, other companies have developed similar solutions. Toby's the leader across the board in eye tracking, always have been, and the barrier was always devices, right? The
Yeah.
Getting eye tracking right on a mobile device, just in terms of how you hold the camera, there's just kind of
Yeah.
pragmatic realities has been a challenge. But when you pull it off and it's cheap, yes, that opens up the door to all types of great things. And UX is the obvious
Yeah.
use case.
Yeah.
So hats off to them for doing that. Hats off to everybody. The ubiquity of the camera, the sophistication of technology creates scale
Yeah.
for biometrics and non-conscious measurement, facial coding. Last week we talked about the biometric devices that you wear, and
Yeah.
we're just going to see more and more of that because tech just makes it cheaper and
Mhm.
and it adds a lot of value. So that's so very cool. Check it out, guys. If you haven't looked at it, check out Toby's launch of UX Explorer and other similar solutions. It doesn't have to be a barrier anymore.
Yeah. Well, and as we'll get into momentarily, like I just keep thinking biometrics, man, that's where I'm putting my money. Like because I just think there has to be a way to confirm identities, and there may only be one that's just solid, right?
There, yes,
Same.
and
Yeah.
there IC
Yeah.
released a solution using facial coding as as a identity validation. Again, our friends at Cool Tool,
Yeah.
they've been working on that. But yes, I mean, it's getting more important
Yeah. Yeah.
by the moment.
Yeah, by the moment. So let's get into some of that. So, as I said, we're going to be talking about AI, and momentarily we'll be talking about that, kind of, the kind of AI introduction of all sorts of levels of fraud. But first, let's take a step back because that article, and I'm framing this for our audience listening very specifically. So the article that you found, Lenny, in Axios or from Axios, where they interviewed Steve Altman. And, of course, people must know right now that he's the CEO of OpenAI. And he said that the next big model will be able to do a lot more. And you might think like, okay, well, duh, we know we're headed there. But some of the things he was talking about too, in particular, was that we're getting to a place with a lot of individual customization to the point where that's going to make a lot of people uncomfortable. So it was a really interesting article to ponder what that means. And those two things, like customization, which in our industry, we think customization, that's great, that's important, that's necessary. But the discomfort that he shares in this article is that it might bring different results to different people. And that's something I think our industry really needs to pay attention to. Why don't you riff off that for us?
Yeah. Well, so, Plug did a podcast interview yesterday with Mark Truss, who is the chief research officer of VML. Is that what's called now? It used to be Winterman Thompson. Sorry, Mark, for getting that wrong. Point is, we touched on this idea of hyper personalization from a marketing standpoint, right? That's been the holy grail forever. So to get the right message to the right person at the right time, driven by data, and a barrier to that was just core computing capability. Here comes AI. Right. And it does open that. And if you're looking at that level, hyper customization will deliver different things by design. What moves me is probably different than what moves you. In depending upon the topic. Right. And it's scary and weird in a lot of ways when you think about that.
And there's potential there, right? I think about within an organization who might be using AI for data synthesis and analysis and understanding. And I think, what the marketing team might want from their search could be very different from, what the, data scientists might be looking for their business intelligence units. Right. So I think that's really interesting as corporations dig into their use of AI for data analysis, in terms of can their systems be programmed based on pillar in an organization values rather than just an individual value. And I'm like, that has great potential to me. So not just the scary part, but also the potential part.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look at even right now, the Grok, right? The AI system on X, it was built to be snarky. It had its personality. That's going to be very off-putting to some people, right? So they've tried to program a sense of humor into it. I don't know. I mean, that's okay, but I certainly there's other times we have to snark. I just want the answer to the question, right? And so that's just one example of that level of customization that, to your point, from a business standpoint, has not just different content, informational needs, but also the way it's delivered. Sometimes some folks want more graphically, right? So it is weird. Now, one thing he did say in that interview, and I forget where he said this, that it's going to make a lot of people uncomfortable. That's an odd thing.
I know it was odd coming from him in particular, because I think we always go to, wait, what does he know that we don't know?
Right.
But I think that tapped into the values. And it's an interesting rabbit hole he went down, thinking about, it might start to give opinions, or it might start to lean into bias. Like, I don't know where that's going, but yeah. Right. Shake you off, because it's already feeling uncomfortable just at the mention of the word.
It is. But the advice of how can I make my internal workflow more efficient? Let's keep in mind all of these things. That's the low-hanging fruit. And there's some other topic, later on we'll touch on it, that, ultimately this is a tool. The tool is to drive greater efficiency. Right. Like all tools, if you misuse it, it can be dangerous and you can have unintended consequences. But learn how to use the tool in the way that the tool makes sense. And that is, I think, overall where we are right now. Last year was what? And now we're in the pragmatic. So, all right, let's test it, do it, see where it works, and figure this stuff out across the board.
For sure.
Yeah.
So what's interesting on the heels of that article is this other article from Verve. Verve is an insights company, isn't it, Lenny? I don't know that much about that organization, but
yeah, but Insight's also marketing, so they're more integrated. But anyway,
yeah. So that one, they produced a manifesto for respectful research with authentic respondents. So kind of build, and that was published this week. So kind of building on all of this, right? Not just AI and the rise of AI and synthetic data or synthetic respondents, but also, just what do we do about it? What are some best practices? Which is what I keep leaning into right now, is we have to be actively listening for best practices that people are sharing, reading what people are saying about best practices, because I think the insights and analytics industry really needs to benchmark those right now. Like, this is a new era. What are our best practices for navigating this space? So in this manifesto, it's talking about the two big topics, which is the respondent quality crisis and the rise of AI, and how they're going hand in hand right now. So super interesting find. Thank you for sharing that. Everybody should read up on it.
Yeah, that was a good quote. Let's call it out. We are facing a growing and inescapable respondent authenticity problem. From Andrew Cooper, the CEO of Verve, and this came from the MRS Research Live industry report. So shout out to them as well. And that's a segue, isn't it?
That's a segue. Well, and the word he used in this article also, before the segue that I've been desperate to talk about since I first learned about it.
I know.
Look at me not putting it first. I should feel proud of that. He talked about the industrialization models that are surfacing, and that's what I'm like, yes. Now we know a little bit that with Botgate, was it Botgate, where we learned a little bit about those, bot farms overseas that are, populating artificial survey responses. So it's like, okay, but the fact that it's highly operational instead of, word of mouth trickery, this is something different. This is a new era. We have to really, the systematic falsification is, I don't know what the right word is, but that's different.
So let me get one piece and it'll tie into our segue, right? This technology creates scale. We saw it in programmatic advertising. That became programmatic sampling. Great efficiency. Price went down. The trade-off of that industrialization, can be quality control issues, which we've been trying to plug the holes in the dike for a long time. And until recently, thought that industrialization component didn't really affect qual, but it does as online qual has emerged and continues to become a growing methodology right there with quant, and the sourcing for qualitative respondents isn't just, I see you in the room. Now it is virtual, and we're getting waves of that industrialization happening there as well. And take it away.
I will. And, you can all just imagine how I'm feeling once you hear what I'm about to share with you. So, being in qualitative research since the 90s, cheaters and repeaters has always been a thing that moderators and focus group facilities have always had to deal with, right? We've always had to deal with the person who shows up at a setting and we're like, that person looks familiar. Can you double check their past participation? Because I think I interviewed them, 3 months ago. And we have come a long way in terms of what we thought were helpful practices for identifying people that were, like professional respondents on some level, where they were trying to get into a few groups a year instead of, what companies wanted were people who were fresh and didn't have any biases from previous work. So enter lots of fail safes that a lot of organizations have been putting into place to, shore up respondent quality from a qual perspective. But of course, as qual is scaling bigger through some of these things, and even some of the, qual at scale platforms that exist. This week we learned, and by we, I mean, I was brought into a conversation that a woman named, Mickey Hill, who reached out to Carrie Hecht. Now, just a little backstory. Carrie Hecht, as some of you might know, she's the CEO of what is now the 10K ecosystem, was Echo MR. We've talked about Carrie before because she's really passionate about data quality. And that's probably why Mickey reached out to her when Mickey found out about this situation. Mickey founded a custom market research company called Advanced Insights back in 1993. So she and I are, hitting the 30 years in this business, portal together. What they found out is there is a woman who has created a course to learn how to get into the professional respondent world. She is teaching people to be professional respondents as an occupation and a primary source of income. So people are paying to take a class, an online class. And with that paid membership comes access to a large community to the tune of thousands of people sharing their best practices for trickery, to share what responses will get you into qualitative work, which questions to fudge your answers to, including some very basic ones. It's disturbing at a minimum. Once you start to watch some of the videos, it's like earth-shattering for the field. So,
and which panels to join.
They're sharing all of the companies. She has a dashboard for doing so. It is a fascinating business model. She's also offering one-on-one coaching for people that aren't having success. So she has monetized. That business. Now, it also makes you wonder, has anybody else done this that we're not privy to, where they're coaching thousands of people to participate in qual? But it caused Mickey and Carrie and then myself to say we need immediate action. There's conversations happening behind the scenes. There's a lot of almost investigative journalism happening across all of those boards. Conversations are happening. Carrie's going to launch a panel discussion very soon on it to try to say, okay, what needs to be done immediately? She changed her practices overnight at her organization for things that she thought were ahead of the curve in terms of participant quality. She's like, oh, now we need a whole new set of best practices. So, fascinating and unnerving. And I think Carly has already shared kind of this post that Carrie put out there on LinkedIn to get everybody kind of thinking and talking and really working collectively to shore up the quality of our studies, right? It has to happen.
Yeah. And it's just, I have to admit, it's almost like watching a heist film.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, there's like a kind of a grudging respect of like, wow, that's pretty slick.
Yeah.
You thought of that.
I know. And it's interesting because I have to shout out to Jacqueline Lapoma, who just shared a message that popped up. Jacqueline and I work together in Insights Now. She's one of the strongest researchers that I know. And I think when we were working on some of our screeners at Insights Now, Jacqueline and the team there had some great questions to kind of, to try to prevent this from happening. So it was a really important issue back there. And so, yeah, Jacqueline, I can talk to you, after this about, things that we thought were really great screener questions that they're being coached how to answer those. So fascinating.
And to your point, Jacqueline, it is disgusting, but we have to own, we didn't build, we have to continue to adapt to weaknesses in our systems. And to block these types of things. I mean, right, we didn't think about this because we understand the repercussions, but to assume and go back to the Botgate stuff, right? They did not view this as doing anything wrong. It was simply a job. And there were no restrictions for that. Right. So there were not systemic restrictions put in place to protect against that, nor were there any ethical or legal frameworks to protect against it either. So we can have that visceral reaction of, well, this sucks. It does. Not everybody gets that. So it's up to us to ensure that we're doing the things to help do this. And here's the thing, everybody, any clients out there, you know what? We want to prevent this. It's going to cost some money. Right. Quality costs. And the last thing I'll mention this Mark Tress interview again. It's going to be a great podcast when it comes out. At the very end, we mapped out that we agreed that the quality costs. The
Yeah.
more strategic and important the business decision is, the more
Yeah.
important quality is. So therefore, the more that sample should cost more.
Yeah.
The more tactical or less important the decision is, there is a role for low cost, potentially contaminated sample. There is.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But in these type of things, it's up to us to fix it.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can point the finger at these people and say bad, 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 and it is.
Yeah. Circle back to the expense of
But
maybe
they don't
getting
know.
biometric measures into place to,
Yes.
confirm participant identity. That might actually be the expense that certainly, recruiters and, providers need to put into place and say, it's going to cost more, but we have to put in these measures. So
Yeah.
I'm going to take a second. Amanda, the word predator caught my eye because we had a similar reaction about this. Is it actually feels very predatorial, for people that that want extra money or that need extra money and don't know that it's problematic. Like there are people that are just like, oh, this is something I can do without realizing there are implications down the road. So I feel actually really bad to some people who are giving money to this, not necessarily knowing the implications of what they're now participating in, right?
So many work from home schemes, pyramid schemes, multi-level marketing. Yes, the world is filled with predatory lending, yes, all of those things. And there's, oh boy, we go really far.
I know.
I hadn't even thought about it, but
look,
can we be a force for good? Can we help people to California considers researchers gigs, right? Considers research participation as gig, or at least they wanted to, right? Let's recognize that if people, they need incentive to do what we want them to do, compensating them for that is not wrong. The creating fraud to tap into that system is
right.
But if there's a way for us to lean into helping people to have additional compensation in other ways to validly participate in research, I think that's a conversation worth having. So they don't get captive.
Exactly. And what we don't want is for people to say, well, I said that I had a husband and kids so that I qualified for the study and I'm in, which is like, no, that defies the very segmentation that the client might need if they're looking for somebody with a husband and kids. Like you can't, we don't want that. But are there opportunities that person could be offered? Certainly corporations have, ongoing panels for product testing and all that. And so maybe there are opportunities that need to be communicated to people that would like, I'd love to sit on a panel and taste product once every 2 weeks or something like that. All
right. So I'm gonna throw out one more thing on this because it is, it's important. So several years ago, everybody knows or should know, we had this bright idea for this company called Veriglyph that we tried to launch, get off the ground. It didn't work, and that's okay. But we saw this coming, and we saw the solution was to have a system of validated identity and linkage across panels, so that we would know. Lenny Murphy, oh wait, he's participating in this panel and that panel and this panel and this panel, and we won't go into all the details. I will tell you that the response from the market was, oh, this is a great idea. The response from the market was no way we will sign up to do this because the panel companies consider, and rightly so, their investment in recruiting people, they consider that an asset and a resource that they kind of own.
Right.
Get it? Understood.
Right.
But people, there's nothing stopping people from participating in multiple panels across the board over and over and over again, and it never has been. So, so I'm not pitching Veriglyph. I'm not saying, oh, let's resurrect that. That's not what I'm saying. But as an industry, we damn well need to think of a system that allows us to have quality controls across the entire ecosystem. Driven by validated identity.
Right.
A combination of biometric, whatever the case may be. I know for a fact it can be done because we figured it out. We just couldn't sell it.
Right.
So,
and it's expensive. Going back to that point, it's an expensive proposition to shore it up across the board. It's the analogy I'm about to make is I just applied for global entry, for instance. I've had TSA pre-check and I've had clear, and now I'm applying for global entry, which I've not done before. And they like this country and other countries are going to know exactly where I've traveled and what, and I'm not going to be, it's like that system will understand exactly who I am. There's going to be no tricking anybody to say, oh yeah, I've been to, I can't think of a place, I've been to Australia when I absolutely haven't, and they will know, right? Because they have that information. And when I show up at the airport and, clear scans my eyes, they know exactly who I am. That's an incredibly expensive, proposition. And it's worth the expense for the industry that it protects and the countries that it protects and the safety of all, humankind with people traveling. So like that expense is justified. Can we have a similar system in the, data and analytics industry or the insights industry? We can.
I know we can.
Yeah.
And I've seen lots of comments. Boy, great to see this level of engagement, guys. There's a lot. We
it's a hot topic.
We knew this was going to be a hot topic. We'll continue on. There's a couple of things we want to cover in this the few minutes remaining to us, but all great topics. And please continue this conversation offline with your colleagues. We're heading into conference season, right? There's two ways this is going to work. Either self-organizing collective of companies come together to create a solution.
Yeah.
A client organization like Case is going to be a participant in that and pushing it to say, by God, you better fix this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I don't believe the trade associations will be the ones to fix it. I think we have to do it ourselves. So I think trade associations can legislate or can help with creating legislative components to create external pieces. They can help to coordinate, but no one's going to fix this for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
If we care about this, ideas exist, technology exists. I'm happy to participate in that because I spent 5 years trying to build it.
Yeah.
We can fix this, but we're going to have to do it.
Yeah. And I think that, the demand from an end client who this calls to question, the integrity of work that they are paying good money for, to me, in any, request for proposal, RFP that I put out there, I am going to want to know what my supplier is doing to make sure that the people that are participating in their research are 100% on target, quite literally, with who they want to be talking to. So, brands should be demanding it of the vendors to push vendors to action, in my humble opinion, to push vendors into action to take this on. So
last thing on the soapbox. I'm sorry. I wish we had more time, but I think my opinion, and so we've been harping on this for years, right? We've done our part to keep raising visibility of these issues.
Yeah.
Authentic respondent engagement and participation is the bedrock of our entire industry. It is an existential threat if we cannot provide quality sample. And a year ago, you would think, oh, well, what's the other source? Well, I'll tell you what the other source is now. It's synthetic sample from AI from other data sources. And if you think for a second that if that clients are not thinking, why am I paying $100 per for this respondent when I can combine these other external data sources that are based on validated identity and create a agent or a model that looks just like it.
Yeah.
And you think they're not doing that calculus in their brains?
Yeah.
You're wrong.
Yeah.
100% wrong.
Yeah.
If we want to prevent that future where that is still going to exist, but it will be complementary to primary research.
Yeah.
We damn well better get this under control.
Yeah. What's cool, and I see, Matt and Patrick who are like throwing other questions in there for us to rip on when we can't quite get there. But, and by the way, clap, clap, clap. You nailed it, Lenny. So good job on that last soundbite.
Thank you.
For those of you who are asking more of these questions, these are great questions we need to wrangle. And I'm sitting here thinking like, I don't know. I know a guy who's curating the agenda for North America, and maybe I'll put together a panel. So email us if that is or email me specifically, klynch@greenbook.org, if that panel is of interest to you, because I think some of these questions to have at that forum is the perfect place for it. I'm also working with Carrie on the panel discussion. She'd like to have a little bit more virtually. Thank you, Carly, on the job. So if you want to be a part of this conversation, I'm welcoming thought leadership articles on this topic also. So just shout out for that too if you want to write about it. We are happy to publish your points of view and your thinking on this, because it's a really freaking big deal. So
let's do one more thing and wrap. Carla, if you can post the link to the CB Insights AI trends for 2024. You have to register and download it. It's worth it. There's a lot of really interesting stuff in that. We won't go into all of it. Maybe pick it up more next week. We've talked about these ideas in a variety of ways. So download it, check it out. You can connect the dots yourself on thinking how it applies to us.
I do have to, it's 30 minutes, but we do have to do this, speaking of North America moment. And I think Carly,
I love it.
When are we going to stop being excited about this? Friends, you also have to reach out to us, because I'm not going to talk about all that, but Carly's working on some amazing graphics, and just think about what the possibilities are for your organization. Anyway.
Just say it. We don't have a sponsor. You want to be the first sponsor of the exchange? Come on. Look what we can do. We can do cool little ads just like that.
Yeah, I know. I shouldn't think of these as shameless self-promotions, but these are our opportunities. Look how beautiful this is. So last day for North America early bird tickets is Monday, January 22nd. That is, in 3 days. And that's at 11:59 p.m. Eastern time. So get those early bird tickets in, save up to 60% on your North America tickets. That's huge. We've just launched a new website that provides you with all the tools you need to make a strong business case for attending. This website's fantastic, by the way, compared to what you might have seen us do in the past. So no need to shame where we've been, and just, hats off to our dev team, because our website, between our dev team and our marketing team, we're killing it. And I'm proud. Growing list of speakers. It's amazing. The ones that we're calling out here: NBC, Microsoft, PBS, HubSpot. So many brands, I can't even really list them right now off the top of my head. I'm actively, working with Natalie on our agenda. It's going to be great. Lots of topics to explore. Oh my gosh, I got to stop talking. But sample quality, mining unstructured data, AI ethics and governance. Of course, we always have innovation. We have startups. We have an amazing new speaker track that Kareen Smith at Burke has curated for us this year, because Annie Pettit wasn't able to help out. The new speakers are from amazing end clients, BET, EA. We just got another one. I forget the name of it. It's financial institution. Anyway, amazing new speakers. We, of course, have our future list honorees, some amazing honorees speaking. I can't even tell you how excited I am for this year's North America event. It's going to be
a great event. And you can come and hang out with us, and we can get on our soapboxes.
We should, of course. Why are we not doing a live exchange?
Oh well, we absolutely should do a live exchange.
Absolutely, you're going to do a live
special hour-long live exchange.
Oh my goodness! Okay, we might have to talk about that later today. I can't believe that idea just happened to me. But we put all these thoughts into our podcast stage and curating what's going to show up there. And of course, you and I are going to do this live.
Yeah, absolutely. Carl, if you can put the other link into the BCG, there was another report that came out from Boston Consulting Group on AI and the kind of predictions, but it was a little more pragmatically focused about operational efficiencies. It's worth a read when you're just kind of thinking about that more pragmatic components. There's some scary stuff in there too. But
is that the white paper? Which one is that?
Yes, the white paper.
The white paper.
Thousands of AI authors on the future of AI. Yes, but it was BCG.
And we encourage you, if you download this white paper that Lenny found, we encourage you to look at it as what do I need to do to be ready for this future, or to lean into this future? Because there's some statistics in there about what's possible by 2047, let alone by 2017. So, AI is going to be doing some amazing things in the next few years. So, what action steps can you take to lean into it, learn about it, use it for some operational efficiencies at your own organization, and buckle up.
Drive efficiency and drive value.
Yeah,
so that's what we do. All right, well, we can go on. Thanks so much for the engagement, guys. Really, was great to see all the comments. Sorry we can call out to everybody, but this
Yeah.
is it's very cool. Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you, Ellen. I see you. Anyway, did you see that? She's like, the clap was awesome.
Yes, and the clap was well, we want to give a clap to you
Oh,
for listening to us, to everybody,
absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
Our little fam that we're building.
Our little growing fam, and we appreciate you. All right, everybody, have a great weekend. Be safe out there if it's snowing where you are. And yeah, really, I look forward to hearing from some of you, and let's continue this conversation. We'll see what the next week brings, and we'll see you next Friday.
Yep, see you next Friday. Bye, guys.
All right.